We hear about climate change almost daily on the news, but we don't often hear stories about how Ontario's changing climate affects animal populations in the province. Ontario's Ministry of Natural Resources has been tracking the effects of climate change on southern Hudson Bay polar bears since 1997. Global warming may affect the southern Hudson Bay polar bears by shortening the period when ice is available. When there is less ice, polar bears have less opportunity to hunt for seals, their primary food source. In some cases, the ice has been melting a month earlier than normal, cutting back the bears' hunting and feeding time by a full 4 weeks. A team of researchers and scientists led by the Ministry of Natural Resources have been studying the effects that higher temperatures have had on Ontario's polar bears.
We know very well that there's fairly rapid environmental change going on now as a result of global warming, and in particular for polar bears, the implications are that their sea ice habitat is dwindling over time. On the other side, we're concerned about populations of polar bears and wondering, are we going to see an imminent decline in the populations?
The researchers are testing the health of the polar bears by taking samples of their blood, claws, hair, and fat levels, and by measuring them and weighing them.
206, so 196 with the net.
The resulting information can pinpoint what the polar bears have been eating.
X 17154.
It also gives the researchers an idea about the overall health of the animals and if climate change is having a negative impact on them.
One of the consequences predicted of climate change is that there will be more and more harbor seals in Hudson Bay, and possibly even harp seals. So there may well be a shift in the diet of polar bears, and we can detect that if we can get some baseline information now.
She's 73%.
Because the bear's eyes don't close when they are sedated, eye drops are used, and the bear's eyes are covered during the exam so that they don't dry out.
They don't have any blink reflex when they're under the effects of the drug.
The polar bears are also marked with orange paint to identify that they have been caught and measured, and to ensure researchers don't catch the same bear twice in the same year.
PTT ID is 74311.
One of the most important aspects of the climate change study involves putting GPS tracking collars on the female bears.
The Argo system of satellites transmits data every couple of days, collects 6 locations a day.
The collars allow the team to follow the bears' movements and to track when and where the bears are mating and giving birth.
These are programmed to break off on December 1st, 2008. So the reason that we target females with yearlings is that the female and the yearling will go back to the ice in December when the ice forms. The next April or May, they'll split up. The mother will come into estrus, she'll mate, get pregnant again. And one of the questions we have for the study is exactly where out on Hudson Bay are the bears mating, because our genetics work suggests that there are probably 3 fairly discrete genetic clusters suggesting that they're mating in quite different areas. So the GPS collars getting 6 locations a day with high accuracy ought to tell us exactly where they are during the breeding season.
Since 1986, there has been a significant decline in the body condition of bears in the southern Hudson Bay population.
Well, some of the recent work that's been published and been generated looking at projections for sea ice changes suggests that there'll be reductions in both distribution and duration of sea ice in any one year of 30% or greater. And the suggestion is that if there's a 30% reduction in habitat, that will have a direct effect on population abundance as well. But in Ontario, a lot of the pregnant females use this kind of a feature. It's called a pulsa. It's a domed up lens of ice that has become vegetated with mosses and lichens and vascular plants, grasses, sedges, and shrubs.
Ontario's Endangered Species Act lists the southern Hudson Bay polar bear as a species of special concern.